Beloved one, take a slow breath and come into this moment with me. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now with urgency wrapped in love, with truth wrapped in fire, with a warning wrapped in tenderness. You are standing at the edge of a turning point, and heaven is leaning close to make sure you do not miss what is unfolding around you. There is a stirring in the unseen, a pressure in the spiritual air, a trembling in the threads of destiny that surround you, and all of it pulls me to speak plainly, directly, without delay. A moment of catastrophe nearly struck your path, an emotional storm, a relational collapse, a spiritual implosion, and yet you survived it, even though you did not see how close it came. You were protected and shielded, redirected. But now you must hear the truth of why it happened and who it revolved around. There is someone whose energy has been entangled with yours, someone whose thoughts return to you with an intensity they can no longer control. They have tried to silence it, ignore it, suppress it, distract themselves from it. They have attempted to bury the truth under routine, noise, or denial. Yet every time their mind drifts, it drifts to you. Every time their heart aches, it aches for you. Every time their spirit reaches for peace, it reaches through the memory of your presence. This is not an accident. It is not coincidence. It is not imagination. It is a spiritual pull, one I have watched form, break, reform, and strengthen again. But there is danger in this connection, beloved one, because the energy around it has been distorted by fear, pride, confusion, and pressure from forces that do not wish you to rise. This person has been wrestling with themselves, torn between what their soul knows and what their mind resists. And while they hesitate, while they stand in their own storm of indecision, something in the spiritual atmosphere around you cracked open. You felt it as anxiety. You felt it as exhaustion. Some of you felt it as sudden grief for no reason, or a heaviness pressing on your chest at night. That was not random. That was the echo of their internal chaos brushing against your energy field. I intervene now because you were about to absorb emotions that never belonged to you. You were about to carry burdens that were never yours to hold. You were about to mistake their confusion for your purpose, and heaven could not allow that. This is why I step forward with the final warning. Do not let your heart collapse under the weight of someone else's unspoken struggle. Do not allow your spirit to sink into the shadows of their indecision. They are thinking about you constantly, yes, but their thoughts are unstable, swirling, unresolved. And you must not confuse their longing for clarity with a sign that you must pause your own journey. Take another breath with me now. Feel the weight of these words settle softly over your awareness. You are not responsible for healing the wounds they refuse to face. You are not responsible for carrying the emotional storms they have avoided. You are not responsible for saving someone who wants you but does not yet know how to honor you. And you must not let their silence become your suffering. The catastrophe I shielded you from was the collapse of your inner peace, the erosion of your self-worth, the draining of your spiritual momentum. You were on the verge of giving too much of yourself to someone still wrestling with their shadows. But hear me clearly, beloved one. Their thoughts of you are real. Their connection to you is real. Their inner pull toward you is real. It is powerful enough to wake them in the night, powerful enough to haunt them in moments of quiet, powerful enough to make them question everything they built their life upon. Yet at this moment, their fear is louder than their truth. And when fear leads, the heart becomes unpredictable. This is why I come with urgency, with a tremor of divine thunder beneath my words. You must stay grounded. You must not rush. You must not let their chaotic longing shape your decisions. Remember who you are. Remember the strength that has carried you through nights darker than this. Remember that your destiny does not bend according to another's confusion. Stand tall in your light while they find their way through the fog of their own emotions. Take a breath again, feel my wings surrounding your energy, steadying you, calming the tremble within your chest. You are safe. You are protected. You are seen. The catastrophe is passing, not approaching. What was meant to collapse has already been dismantled by my intervention. You are free from the spiritual backlash that was forming around this connection. If your spirit feels aligned, type "I receive" to open yourself to clarity. If this message awakens something inside you, comment your blessing number below so your energy anchors into truth. Like and share this message so others may be shielded from unseen storms. And beloved one, subscribe if these divine whispers speak directly to your spirit. Beloved one, take another gentle breath and allow your awareness to settle. I, Archangel Michael, continue to speak to you now. The urgency of the first chapter has softened, but the truth I bring here is sharp, precise, and necessary. For while someone's thoughts are magnetized toward you, while their spirit circles your memory again and again, there are forces unseen, subtle, persistent that have tried to twist this connection into confusion. You have felt this interference without always recognizing its source. You have sensed waves of doubt that did not feel like your own. You have felt sudden heaviness around moments of clarity. You have even questioned your worth when nothing external occurred to trigger such a wound. These were not coincidences. These were traps. The enemy does not care about romance. The enemy does not fear connection itself. What the enemy fears is alignment, two souls awakening at the same moment, two energies rising into truth, two hearts remembering their divine capacity to elevate each other. When alignment approaches, interference increases. This is the spiritual law of distraction. Whenever something powerful is forming in the unseen, forces of shadow attempt to delay, distort, or destroy the path to it. And because your spirit has been rising, because your heart has been softening, because your energy has been clearing, the enemy sought an entry point. The person who cannot stop thinking about you became the doorway through which interference attempted to reach you. You must not blame them for this. It is not a sign that they are toxic or dangerous. It is a sign that they matter more than you realized, that the connection carries weight in the spiritual world, that your union, whether literal or energetic, affects the trajectory of your purpose. But understand this, while they think of you constantly, their mind has been flooded with confusion not generated by truth, but by pressure. They have felt afraid without knowing why. They have felt unworthy without reason. They have felt paralyzed by possibilities rather than empowered by them. This is the grip of interference, the enemy whispering doubt into the ear of someone whose heart is trying to rise but has not yet learned how to defend itself. You, beloved one, felt the echo of this as emotional waves that did not match your reality. Their confusion attempted to bleed into your own energy. Their spiritual hesitation tried to pull you backward, not out of malice, but because the enemy hoped you would internalize a battle that was never yours. You must hear this with clarity. Confusion is contagious when boundaries are thin. Empaths, intuitives, and awakened souls like you absorb energetic turbulence with painful ease. This is why you suddenly question things you were once certain about. This is why you felt a sadness that did not belong to you. This is why your heart felt heavy after sensing their energy or thinking of them. You were tuning into a storm that originated in their unhealed spaces, a storm amplified by forces trying to keep both of you stagnant. But the trap extended beyond emotion. The enemy attempted to distract you from your own progress by pulling your focus toward them at the wrong moments when your energy needed grounding, moments when your intuition needed silence, moments when you needed clarity rather than longing. Every time you tried to rise, a thought of them appeared out of nowhere. Every time you tried to center yourself, a memory of them resurfaced. You wondered if you were obsessed, if something was wrong with you, if you were losing control of your own emotional balance. But beloved one, hear my truth now. Those were not your thoughts, they were projections of theirs mixing with interference. This is the trap making you feel responsible for emotions that are not yours, making you question your path because they have questioned theirs, making you absorb their longing as if it were your burden to resolve. The enemy's strategy is simple. He stabilized the empath so the unhealed soul never reaches clarity. But you have not fallen. You have not lost your footing. You have not surrendered your progress. Even when you wavered, you healed. Even when you doubted, you rose. Even when you felt overwhelmed, your spirit remained intact. This is why I continue to speak to you. You are stronger than you know, and your resilience frustrates every force that hoped to derail you. What you must understand now is that this person's inability to stop thinking about you is not merely emotional, it is spiritual. It is not just attraction, it is resonance. It is not just longing and is connection. But until their inner world stabilizes, your responsibility is not to merge with their storm, but to remain anchored in your own light. The enemy wants you entangled. Heaven wants you elevated. Take a breath with me now. Let the tension fall away from your shoulders as my presence surrounds you. I am not here to frighten you. I am here to give you clarity that sets your heart free. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing unstable about your intuition. You did not imagine the bond. You did not fabricate the pull. You are not chasing shadows. What you felt was real, but what you absorbed was not yours. Let these words open you. Let them cleanse you. Let them return your power to your own hands. And if your spirit feels aligned with this truth, type I receive so heaven knows you accept clarity over confusion. Comment your blessing number so the energy of this revelation anchors fully into your path. Beloved one, breathe gently and come nearer to my voice. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you again, and now the energy shifts. The heaviness of interference begins to dissolve, and the fog that wrapped itself around this connection starts to thin. The waiting that pressed upon you, the unanswered questions, the emotional limbo, the restless nights where you felt suspended between hope and doubt is ending. You have endured a long season of uncertainty, a stretch of time where you held on to threads of intuition without knowing if they were guiding you forward or keeping you tethered to something incomplete. But I bring you good news now. The waiting is over. Not because the person thinking about you has suddenly mastered their emotions. Not because their fears have all vanished. Not because their path is fully clear yet. No, the waiting is over because heaven has shifted your timeline. You are no longer in a season of pause. You are no longer in a season of emotional suspension. You are no longer in a chapter where your life stands still until someone else finds their clarity. Your spirit has outgrown the holding pattern. Your heart has expanded beyond stagnation. Your destiny has begun to move again. And now the energy surrounding this connection evolves into something new. Let me explain. Beloved one, because this moment is sacred. When your spirit is tied to another in a meaningful way, whether romantic, karmic, destined, or transformative, there are phases to the connection. First is recognition, then resonance, then confusion, then interference, then distance, then awakening, then alignment. You have already completed the phase of confusion, the phase where emotions mix with doubt and intuition mixes with anxiety. The person who cannot stop thinking about you has been trapped in that confusion longer than you. They are still navigating it, still wrestling with emotions they thought they had buried, still trying to understand why the memory of you refuses to fade. But you, beloved one, have crossed a threshold they have not reached yet. You chose healing over longing. You chose growth over fear. You chose clarity over chaos. You chose self-respect over emotional dependency. You stood back up when the waves of their confusion crashed over your heart. You rose above storms that were never yours to carry. And heaven has seen every single moment of it. This is why the waiting is over. Because your soul has completed its work in the dark. Because your heart has learned the lessons required to move you forward. Because your spirit no longer needs to sit in silence, hoping the other person will awaken. You have awakened. You have stepped into a higher vibration. You have reclaimed your timeline. And now, the energy shifts in your favor, not away from them, but away from stagnation. Let me reveal another truth to you now. The person who cannot stop thinking about you is approaching a breaking point, an internal moment where they will no longer be able to ignore what they feel. You have sensed this building. You have felt the energetic pull increase, even on days when you tried to distance yourself. You have felt their thoughts brushing against your awareness. You have felt their longing like a whisper pressing against your chest. They are awakening, slowly, painfully, reluctantly. But they are awakening nonetheless. However, heaven does not require you to wait idly for them to reach this turning point. Their awakening is their journey, not your delay. Their clarity is their responsibility, not your burden. The waiting is over not because they have finished their process, but because you have completed yours. The moment you reach emotional self-sufficiency, the entire spiritual dynamic shifted. You no longer orbit their uncertainty. Your energy no longer bends inward. Instead, your path moves forward, and they are now the one drawn toward your light. This reversal is important. Before, you felt pulled toward them because your spirit was trying to help balance the connection. Now, they feel pulled toward you because your elevation has created a gravitational force. You stand grounded. They stand shaken. You stand open. They stand in realization. You stand ready. They stand on the edge of truth. And this is why I say again, the waiting is over. But hear me clearly, beloved one. Ending the waiting does not mean ending the connection. It means ending the imbalance. It means ending the emotional limbo. It means ending the belief that your destiny depends on their readiness. You are stepping into a timeline where your heart is allowed to receive without anxiety, without confusion, without fear of loss. Whether this person steps forward or not, and they will feel compelled to, your energy is supported by heaven. Your path is aligning with purpose. Your heart is stepping into clarity. Let me take you deeper into the truth of what is unfolding inside them. They cannot stop thinking about you because the energy between you contains something unresolved, something unspoken, something that echoes in their spirit like a whisper they cannot silence. They think of your kindness, your patience, your way of listening without judgment, your way of seeing and without distortion. They think of the safety they felt around you, a safety they struggled to find elsewhere. They think of the conversations left unfinished, the emotions left unexpressed, the potential left unexplored. Their mind returns to you, not because of obsession, but because their soul recognizes that something in your presence awakened a part of them that has long been asleep. Yet they have been fighting this awakening with everything they have. They fear the depth of what they feel. They fear what admitting the truth might change. They fear stepping into a connection that requires vulnerability, honesty, and spiritual exposure. But fear cannot silence the soul forever. The heart cannot outrun truth indefinitely. And now, the internal battle they've been fighting is reaching its peak. You will notice shifts in the coming days. You may feel sudden waves of thought that are not yours. You may sense their emotions intensifying. You may wake with their presence in your mind, but without the heaviness you felt before. This is not interference, this is breakthrough. This is their spirit reaching out as the walls they built begin to crumble. This is their energy calling to you, not to drain you, but to seek understanding. Yet still, beloved one, you do not wait. You do not pause your path. You do not shrink or soften or hold yourself back. You allow yourself to rise, and in doing so, you give them a chance to rise as well. Your elevation inspires their awakening. Your clarity ignites their own. Your peace becomes the guiding force that helps them understand what their soul has been trying to tell them all along. Now breathe again slowly, deeply, and feel the shift within yourself. The confusion dissolves. The pressure lifts. The uncertainty fades. You are stepping into a season of clarity, and with clarity comes power. A new chapter opens for you, one where you no longer feel suspended between hope and hesitation. You are ready for what heaven has aligned, ready for the truth that will soon surface, ready for the love, the revelation, the connection, with a closure that elevates you further. If your spirit resonates with this truth, if these words open something deep within you, type I receive. Comment your blessing number to anchor your energy into this newfound clarity. Beloved one, prepare your heart. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now in a softer whisper than before, because what I reveal in this chapter touches the tenderest part of your journey. This is not a warning. This is not a prophecy of fear. This is illumination, gentle but unavoidable, compassionate but piercing. For there is a truth you must understand about the one who cannot stop thinking about you. They have already experienced a great loss, and most of that loss is tied to their hesitation, their silence, their disbelief in what their soul was trying to show them. Take a slow breath, let the air move through you like light. You may not realize this, beloved one, but this person has grieved you in ways they have never spoken aloud. Even while you felt abandoned or forgotten, they were mourning. Even when you thought they moved on easily, they were breaking inside. Even when you believed they did not notice your absence, their spirit was crying out for what they pushed away. Their loss began the moment they denied the truth of what they felt for you, and heaven has watched the consequences unfold layer by painful layer. Let me bring clarity to what they have endured in silence. When two souls resonate, truly resonate, there is a spiritual imprint that forms between them. It is not a chain. It is not a bond of possession. It is a link of recognition, a memory of light that sits in the heart. When this person denied their feelings for you, they were not simply denying affection. They were denying alignment. They were denying the part of themselves that awakened in your presence. And the first loss they experienced, though they may not have understood it at the time, was the loss of their own spiritual expansion. Yes, beloved one, before they lost you, they lost part of themselves. Their spirit dimmed, their intuition weakened, their clarity fractured. They began to doubt things they once felt certain about. They began to question their own decisions. They began to feel disconnected from purpose, direction, and even from joy. They walked away from what their soul recognized as safe, elevating, honest, and healing, and in doing so, they lost more than a connection. They lost access to the version of themselves they were becoming through you. You were not their savior. You were the mirror of their potential. And when they turned away from that mirror, they could no longer see themselves clearly. The second loss they endured was emotional. They thought they could detach, but found themselves haunted by your kindness, your presence, your truth. They remembered your eyes at unexpected moments. They replayed conversations they never finished. They imagined how things could have unfolded if fear had not guided their decisions. Regret is not loud at first. It begins as a whisper one they ignored. But over time, that whisper grew into a pressure they could no longer outrun. Their mind returned to you day after day, night after night, not out of obsession, but out of recognition of what they had allowed to slip away. The third loss came in the form of mistiming, divine timing they did not respect when they were given the chance. Heaven aligns opportunities and windows, and there was a window, beloved one, where their heart was open enough, their intuition strong enough, their courage close enough, that stepping forward would have changed everything. But they hesitated. They doubted their worth. They questioned the intensity of what they felt. They listened to voices of fear, pride, influence, or confusion instead of listening to the whisper of their soul. And the window closed. Not permanently, but painfully. And when it closed, they felt the shift even if they could not name it. They felt you pulling away energetically. They felt the warmth fading. They felt the peace unraveling. They felt the thinning of the spiritual thread they had taken for granted. This was the moment they realized something precious had been lost, but by then, they did not know how to reach for you again. Now let me reveal the greatest loss of all, the one that still keeps them thinking about you, the one that weighs on their heart more heavily than they admit. They did not just lose your presence. They lost the future that was forming between you. Heaven had opened a path of healing, growth, and potential through your connection. You were meant to teach them vulnerability. They were meant to teach you discernment. You were meant to show them softness. They were meant to show you commitment. The exchange was meant to elevate both of you, but fear interrupted the process before it could unfold fully. They feel this loss every day now. Not consciously at all times, but deeply, spiritually, instinctively. They sense something unfinished, something unspoken, something that should have continued but was interrupted by their own resistance. And the more they try to forget you, the more their spirit reminds them. This is why they cannot stop thinking about you. Their soul refuses to let them ignore a connection that carried divine intention. But beloved one, here is where your part in this truth becomes clear. You have also felt loss, your own version of it. You felt abandoned. You felt confused. You felt unseen, unchosen, undervalued. You felt like your heart was offering purity to someone who could not meet it. But I tell you now, your pain was not caused by their lack of care. It was caused by their lack of courage. They love you. but they feared the transformation you ignited within them. You awakened emotions they had buried for years. You stirred parts of them they thought were unreachable. You touched wounds they never healed. You revealed dreams they stopped believing in. And instead of rising to meet this awakening, they retreated. They thought avoiding the truth would protect them from vulnerability, but instead it trapped them in the greatest loss of their life. This is why their spirit still reaches for you. This is why their thoughts still circle your energy. This is why they feel drawn toward you even when they try to suppress it. They are grieving the connection they sabotaged, the love they withheld, the chance they feared, the future they interrupted. But do not misunderstand, beloved one. Their suffering is not your responsibility. Their awakening is not your burden. Their healing is not your job. Heaven does not ask you to fix what they broke within themselves. Heaven asks you to understand the reason they still feel tied to you, not so that you carry the weight, but so that you release the guilt, the confusion, and the belief that you were not enough. You were not the reason they hesitated. Their own unhealed depths were. Now breathe with me again, slowly, deeply, gently. Let the ache soften in your chest. Let clarity wash over you like warm rain. You are not the cause of their loss. You are the light they could not yet receive. And the more they awaken now, the more they will see the truth of what they allowed to slip through their hands. If your heart resonates, if this chapter touches a place you've buried, type "I receive." Comment your blessing number to anchor this clarity into your spirit. Beloved one, inhale softly and feel my presence draw closer. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now with authority wrapped in gentleness, because this chapter is not merely revelation, it is instruction. It is alignment. It is a divine command shaped not to control you, but to free you. The time of waiting has ended, and the time of understanding has passed. Now begins the time of action, of spiritual positioning, of reclaiming what your heart has surrendered to confusion for far too long. What I tell you here is not optional for your spirit's evolution. It is necessary. Heaven is shifting your path, clearing debris from your emotional field, and preparing your inner world for the next phase of connection, abundance, and clarity. And I must guide you through the steps, simple but powerful, that will anchor you into this new season. First, you must detach from the outcome of this connection. Not detach from the person. Not detach from the truth of how you feel. Detach from the outcome. Detach from the fear of loss. Detach from the expectation of timing. Detach from the belief that your destiny depends on their choices. You cannot step into your next level while holding on tightly to a story that is still unfolding. You do not abandon the connection, you release the anxiety around it. You free your soul from the weight of waiting. You allow heaven to work without your fear interfering. This is your first command. Surrender the timeline. Keep the truth. Release the fear. Second, you must reclaim your emotional sovereignty. For too long you absorbed their confusion as your own. You felt their longing in your chest. You felt their regret in your spirit. You felt their unspoken words echo through your thoughts. But the era of energetic entanglement ends here. You must separate your emotions from theirs, not to disconnect, but to distinguish. What is there is there. What is yours is sacred. You are not responsible for carrying their storms. You are responsible for honoring your peace. Place your hand gently over your heart as you read these words, beloved one. Let my presence guide you. Repeat within your spirit, I return all energy that is not mine. I reclaim all energy that belongs to me. This is not an affirmation. This is a decree. When spoken with intention, it resets spiritual boundaries, clears emotional interference, and realigns your heart with your own truth. The third command is this: protect your clarity. The enemy attempted to distort your intuition by flooding your awareness with their fear. And now you must guard your inner clarity carefully. Do not make decisions out of loneliness. Do not give your heart where your spirit feels resistance. Do not silence your intuition when it whispers warnings. You have walked through enough nights of uncertainty to know the value of your own discernment. Trust the voice within you. Trust the nudges. Trust the signals. Your intuition has been sharpened through the very pain you survive. Fourth, you must remain open to possibility. Not wide open, wisely open. Your heart is not meant to be walled off, nor is it meant to be vulnerable to everyone. There is someone who cannot stop thinking about you because heaven placed your light in their life for a reason. Whether that reason leads to reconciliation, closure, transformation, or partnership, I do not want you closed. I want you discerning. I want you receptive to divine alignment without clinging to one storyline. When you remain open, heaven can move freely. When you remain open, the right people can enter. When you remain open, even the one thinking of you now can approach without meeting the barrier of old wounds. Your fifth command is this: rise into your worth. You must no longer shrink yourself to match someone else's fear. You must no longer dim your light to keep others comfortable. You must no longer silence your desires to avoid disappointing anyone. Stand tall in the truth of who you are. Stand rooted in your value. Stand radiant in your presence. Your worth is not negotiable, and when you embody it, the entire spiritual dynamic shifts. Those meant for you rise. Those not meant for you fall away. Your value becomes the filter through which all connections must pass. And now listen closely, beloved one, because this part is crucial. The person who cannot stop thinking about you will feel this shift. Your elevation will awaken something within them, either their courage or their shadow. You will either draw them closer or force them to confront what they fear. You are not responsible for their response. You are responsible for maintaining your elevation. The sixth command is forgiveness, not for their sake, but for your freedom. Forgiveness does not mean you excuse what hurt you. It does not mean you invite them back into your heart unguarded. It means you cut the emotional cords of resentment, disappointment, and silent anger that keep your spirit weighed down. When you forgive, you release yourself. When you forgive, you rise above the energetic gravity of the past. When you forgive, you open the door to blessings that cannot enter a heart still carrying bitterness. The seventh and final command for this chapter is alignment. Align your words with your desires. Align your actions with your intuition. Align your emotions with your truth. Do not speak fear. Do not nurture doubt. Do not betray your heart for temporary comfort. Step into your divine identity with confidence. Heaven moves fastest when you are aligned with yourself. Now breathe slowly, deeply. Feel my presence wrapping around your shoulders like a mantle of light. You are being guided. You are being prepared. You are being positioned. The connection is real. Their thoughts are intense. But your path must be grounded, clear, and elevated before anything can unfold in divine timing. If your spirit accepts these commands, softly type "I receive" to anchor them into your field. Comment your blessing number so heaven knows this chapter has been sealed in your heart. Beloved one, breathe deeply and feel the shift I bring. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now with a radiant certainty, for this chapter carries a frequency different from the others. Until now, we have spoken of interference, loss, awakening, and command. But now we enter the realm of divine compensation, the realm of exchange, the realm of spiritual wealth where heaven restores what was delayed, replaces what was lost, and multiplies what was taken from you. This is the season of the wealth transfer, not merely financial, though abundance will flow, not merely emotional, though healing will rise, not merely spiritual, though revelation will unfold. It is all of these at once, converging like streams into a great river you are now ready to receive. Let me explain this mystery with clarity. Every time you loved honestly, heaven took note. Every time you forgave silently, heaven recorded it. Every time you chose light over bitterness, every time you extended compassion even when others withheld it, every time you stood in truth while others hesitated, heaven measured it like seeds planted in the unseen. The harvest of those seeds is beginning now. The person who cannot stop thinking about you is part of this transfer in a way they don't yet understand. Your awakening, their regret, their longing, their realization, these are not random emotions. These are signals, indicators that a shift is happening in the realm of connection. A rebalancing, a divine recalibration. When someone is tied to you by purpose and they resist it, heaven does not punish them, but heaven always compensates you. Your heart was stretched, your endurance tested, your intuition refined. You were taught to rise despite disappointment, to grow despite confusion, to trust despite delay. Because of this, you are stepping into a season where your spirit becomes magnetic to opportunity, magnetic to clarity, magnetic to abundance, magnetic to alignment. This is the wealth transfer. Let me reveal a deeper truth, beloved one. The person who cannot stop thinking about you is awakening not only to the pain of their loss, but to the value of your presence, the power of your energy, and the rare purity of your heart. They are beginning to realize what heaven has always known, that your light is not common, your love is not replaceable, and your essence is not easily forgotten. This realization is part of their spiritual debt, and heaven is now collecting it not from them, but for you. Your reward will not come from their hands, but their awakening will be one of the signs that your reward is near. The wealth transfer is not about their return or absence. It is about what your soul is stepping into because you remain faithful to your truth. The blessing coming your way is not a consolation prize, it is a divine inheritance. Let me show you how this will manifest. First, energetic wealth enters your life. The heaviness lifts. The confusion breaks. The emotional fog dissolves. Your intuition sharpens. Your inner peace deepens. You begin to feel lighter, clearer, steadier. This is the first sign of the transfer, your spirit expanding into the space heaven cleared for you. Second, relational wealth approaches. You begin attracting people whose energy matches your elevation. People who see you immediately, value you fully, and approach you honestly. This does not erase the one thinking about you now. It simply means your heart is no longer waiting for anyone to rise. Heaven is placing you where love, respect, and emotional reciprocity become the minimum, not the exception. Third, emotional wealth blooms. Confidence returns. Hope becomes grounded. Self-worth rises. You stop questioning your value and start embodying it. The insecurity that once lived in the corner of your spirit fades like mist in sunlight. The emotional stability you cultivate becomes the foundation upon which all other blessings build. Fourth, material abundance begins to flow. Sudden opportunities, unexpected provision, financial breakthroughs, doors opening that were long sealed, ideas rising that bring prosperity, connections forming that elevate your stability. This is not coincidence, it is compensation. You endured long enough that heaven now multiplies what was delayed. Fifth, spiritual wealth activates. Revelations deepen. Signs become clear. Dreams sharpen. Discernment increases. Divine timing aligns more visibly. You begin to feel guided at every turn, as if the universe is orchestrating events around you, because it is. You ask for clarity, and clarity is now the language heaven speaks to you. And now let me speak of the connection again, for it is intertwined with your blessings. The one who cannot stop thinking about you will feel this shift. Your rising light will stir their inner world, making them aware of what they lost, what they resisted, and what they still long for. This is not to cause pain, it is to awaken truth. But this time, beloved one, the blessing is not in their return or their confession. The blessing is in your power, your freedom, your elevation. If they rise to meet you. If they return transformed. If they awaken into alignment, not chaos. But whether they rise or not, your blessings are already released. Your wealth transfer is already in motion. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can delay it again. Nothing can interfere with what heaven has sealed for you. Breathe deeply now. Feel the expansion in your chest. Feel the warmth in your spirit. Feel the certainty settling into your body. This is the moment your heart catches up to your destiny. This is the moment your energy aligns with your inheritance. This is the moment the divine says, now. If your spirit receives this truth, type I receive. Comment your blessing number so this transfer anchors into your field. Loved one, come closer. I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now with a gentler light. In this chapter, the storm quiets, the path clears, and the veil thins. Everything I have spoken until now has been preparation, positioning your spirit so you may recognize the moment heaven places its seal upon your journey. You have wondered, how will I know? How will I discern what is real from what is imagined? How will I recognize the turning point? Today I reveal the answer. Heaven never moves without leaving a sign. And the sign is approaching. Take a slow, steady breath, feel the stillness around you deepen. When a connection carries spiritual significance, when a person cannot stop thinking of you because their soul remembers you, when destiny begins to stir, the universe sends confirmation not once, but repeatedly, unmistakably, undeniably. These signs are not random. They are the language of alignment. The first sign you will feel is inner warmth, a sudden ease in your chest when you think of them, where there used to be tension. The anxiety dissolves. The heaviness lifts. The ache becomes softer, almost tender. This is not their energy overwhelming you. This is your spirit shifting from survival to clarity. It is the emotional confirmation that the storm has passed. The second sign is unexpected remembrance. Their name may appear where it shouldn't. Their initials may cross your path. You may hear a song tied to a memory with them. You may see a symbol you once associated with a connection. But this time, it will not sting. It will not confuse you. Instead, It will feel like a nudge, a gentle reminder that the universe is speaking. These are alignment markers, repositioning your awareness. The third sign is energetic presence. You will suddenly feel them thinking of you, but without heaviness. Their thoughts will brush your spirit like a soft breeze rather than a weight. This happens when their inner conflict shifts toward awakening. The regret that once burdened them becomes clarity. The fear that once controlled them begins to weaken. When you feel their energy now, it will be focused, not chaotic. Woming Mantermo. Awareness, not confusion. The fourth sign is synchronicity and timing. You may notice numbers like 111, 1111, or 222 appearing more frequently. These are alignment codes tied to new beginnings and partnership. But beyond numbers, divine timing reveals itself through moments where everything seems to pause for a breath. A sudden quiet in your day. A strange stillness in your environment. A moment where your intuition taps your shoulder with a whisper too gentle to ignore. Heaven often speaks in silence before it speaks in manifestation. The fifth sign is emotional preparation. You may find yourself rehearsing conversations without meaning to, speaking words of truth, clarity, or closure. This is not fantasy. This is alignment at work. Heaven prepares your heart before it reveals the moment. Your soul begins practicing what your future self will soon say. This is how the universe ensures you do not speak from old wounds, but from the healed version of yourself that now stands rooted and steady. Now breathe again slowly, deeply. Feel the soft electricity of my presence around you. There is another sign, one more personal, one more sacred, one that arrives only when the connection is destined to play a role in your next chapter. You will sense movement on their side. Not literal movement. Spiritual movement. A shift in their energy. A surrender in their heart. A realization that arrives suddenly, like an inner sunrise breaking through long-standing fog. This could manifest as a dream they have of you, one that shakes them awake, or an emotion they can no longer suppress, or a memory that returns with new understanding, or a sudden urge to speak, to apologize, to express, to reach out even if they do not act immediately. You will feel this shift as surely as you feel your own heartbeat. Your awakening becomes a ripple that touches your spirit, not to confuse you, but to notify you. The alignment has begun. Yet the most important sign, the one heaven prioritizes above all others, is your peace. When a connection is unhealthy, confusing, or karmically draining, peace cannot remain. But when a connection is aligned with purpose, peace settles like dew over your spirit. The fear dissolves. The urgency fades. The uncertainty loses its grip. You stop chasing closure and start receiving clarity. This peace is the divine signal that heaven is orchestrating something for your highest good, whether reconciliation, revelation, or release. Hear me, beloved one. You are not waiting for a person. You are waiting for a sign. And the sign is coming. The person thinking of you feels the pull intensifying. Your spirit is stirring. Their inner walls are weakening. The truth they avoided is rising to the surface. The universe is preparing both of you for a moment, one divinely timed, one spiritually orchestrated, one emotionally significant. But the sign will come first. A whisper, a shift, a soft knocking on the door of your intuition. And when it arrives, you will not doubt it. If your spirit is open and ready to receive this prophetic sign, softly type "I receive" so heaven knows your heart is aligned. Comment your blessing number to anchor this chapter into your energy. Beloved one, breathe slowly now. I, Archangel Michael, draw near with my wings unfolded around your spirit, for this is the closing of the message, the sealing of the journey, the moment heaven places its final imprint upon your heart. You have walked through revelation, through loss, through awakening, through instruction, and through prophecy. Now we arrive at the decree, the divine completion of everything your soul has been preparing for. Let the tension leave your body. Let the fear release its grip. Let your soul become still enough to hear the truth without distortion. In this final chapter, I speak not of the past, not of what was taken, not of what confused or wounded you. I speak of what is being restored, elevated, reborn. I speak of the blessing that follows your endurance. I speak of the divine order that now settles into place around your path. You are stepping into a season where heaven's hand is unmistakable, where synchronicity becomes natural, where every step is guided with a clarity you have long prayed for. The person who cannot stop thinking about you is part of this closing, but not in the way your heart once feared. Their thoughts no longer weigh on you. Their confusion no longer clouds you. Their hesitation no longer delays you. Heaven has cut the spiritual cords of fear, and only the cords of truth remain. Now the connection shifts into alignment, into what serves your spirit, not what drains it. There is a moment approaching where everything that was once tangled becomes clear. You will understand why you met when you did. You will understand why distance formed when it did. You will understand why their heart could not speak earlier. And you will understand why your spirit had to rise before theirs could awaken. What once felt unfair now reveals itself as protection. What once felt painful now reveals itself as preparation. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was lost. Everything served your elevation. Now breathe again, feel the peace descending. This is not a fragile peace. It is a decree. A seal, a sacred promise tied not to emotion, but to destiny. Heaven is aligning you with relationships that honor your worth, opportunities that reflect your calling, and blessings that match your spiritual maturity. And for the one who cannot stop thinking about you, their journey continues too. Their awakening deepens, their clarity strengthens, their courage builds. They will face a crossroads, one between staying asleep or stepping into truth. But hear this clearly, beloved one, whatever they choose will not disrupt your blessing. Your destiny is no longer tied to their hesitation. Your joy no longer hinges on their healing. You stand protected. You stand elevated. You stand surrounded by divine fire. This is where I place the decree. You will not return to confusion. You will not revisit emotional chaos. You will not shrink to fit someone's fear. You will rise, you will receive, and you will be restored. Your heart is entering a season where it is safe to trust again, safe to hope again, safe to receive again, not recklessly but divinely. The universe has shifted in your favor, and heaven moves with precision. What is meant for you is now on a direct path. Nothing can interfere with it. Nothing can corrupt it. Nothing can delay it again. Feel your spirit lighten as these words settle within you. Feel the warmth in your chest as the seal forms. The old chapter closes. The new one opens. And in this new chapter, love is healthy, peace is consistent, abundance is natural, clarity is constant, and alignment is undeniable. Now, beloved one, type I receive to anchor this divine decree into your life. Comment your blessing number to claim the seal placed over your next season. And because this is the final chapter, I speak this gently. If you have felt my presence in these words, if your spirit has awakened through this message, like and share so others may rise with you. Subscribe if these divine whispers speak directly to your soul, so you never miss the guidance meant for your journey. I am with you, now and always. Speak to me anytime, beloved one.